Hey, what's going on? Hope y'all are doing well. What's going on? What's going on? So, I wanted to come on this evening to talk about Mars. I know that I have a video entitled Saturn and Mars, What Ultimately Becomes Our Power. And I wanted to break down each sign and how we express the signs. However, I've been researching astrology for a long time, and I feel like, well, at least with my experience, it's very important how we receive information and how the usefulness and how we can use it. And I feel like because there's so much info about each sign, it'll be much more valuable to address the signs this way. And I had this idea from the Lola Pilot Man, and it was useful. It was most useful. So I wanted to address it more so in that way, the functionality through the signs. Okay? So let me give credit where it's due. Okay, so Mars, our intent and our willpower. This is Mars, okay? So with Mars, first off, okay, where Mars is in our chart, Mars is our ability to assert what we want and go after it. Mars is our ability to go into a situation and take what's ours, to go into a situation and bulldoze our way through. And it's important that we have this aspect to our personality because without this aspect, we would be overly compromising, and for the most part, we could be taken advantage of. Mars takes for the self in Aries. So I'm gonna break it down like this. So our intent, our willpower. The first house, Mars, the 8th house, and the 10th house. The first house, which is Aries, the 8th house, which rules Scorpio, and the 10th house, which governs Capricorn. So with Mars in the sign of Aries, in the first house as well, fire element, and in cardinal, our ability to express ourselves as individuals. Mars gives us in the first house or in the sign of Aries optimal self-expression. Optimal self-expression in a different way than the sun, because Mars is exalted. The sun is exalted in Aries. However, it's different when Mars is in Aries, because when Mars is in the sign of Aries, Mars is capable of doing what needs to be done right here and there without much compromise, without much worry, without doubt, just being able to get up and get it done. And this is powerful. This is very powerful, and it's a logical energy when it's in its highest expression and when it's aspected well. It's a very encouraging, empowering energy. Mars is in the sign of Aries. And this is the first house, the house of self, the house of the body. And having that strong Mars, either Mars in the first house, having the sun in the first house, having a strong Aries energy, these people are able to go anywhere and assert themselves and dominate in order to express themselves. It's a beautiful energy, especially when one knows what they want and because everything else falls into place. Okay, so Scorpio. So Scorpio, the 8th house governs Scorpio, a water sign. Scorpio is a fixed water sign. And Scorpio is in which the 8th house is about desire, passion, focused intent. And here's the difference with how Scorpio plays out and how Mars plays out differently in the sign of Scorpio in the 8th house or versus Aries. So when Mars seeks to get what Mars desires in the sign of Scorpio, there is less impulsive right here and now. And Mars undertakes a more strategic, slow, very disciplined route to get what Mars wants. And here Mars can even, in a sense, figure out how Mars is useful, that Mars sign, Scorpio, through experiences, figure out, okay, how am I useful? And how are others useful? And how can things connect and combine to facilitate a desired outcome? How can the usefulness, right, of whatever it may be, because the desires, we have endless desires as humans. Our desires change and we transform them. And in the sign of Scorpio, Mars is able to slowly strategize to reach a desired point over time. It's not just solely about the here and now. So it slows Mars down, however, still maintains a degree of strength that Mars doesn't lose itself toward a goal. That passion is still there. That drive is still there. And this is the 8th house with desires in Mars, and understanding your own desires, and understanding the significance of knowing, observing, being observant of how this plays out through humans. It's so interesting because, when we're dealing with information and we're dealing with humanity and our characteristics, our traits as, humans, all of our upbringings are different. Our cultures are different. And when it comes to understanding the self and understanding how things work on a mechanical level, it takes observation, and it takes time, and it takes devotion, focus, and all of the beautiful things that Scorpio represents. However, with the benefit for the self. And this gives us the ability to be individuals with Mars and Aries and Scorpio. And in Scorpio, however, it gives us the ability to connect to another and take our usefulness, to identify our usefulness in the sign of Scorpio. Mars is able to identify the ability to use self, others, things, and to get what it wants. So in the 10th house, where Mars is exalted, Capricorn. So with Mars in Capricorn, Mars is exalted in Capricorn. And this is powerful. This is a powerful position for Mars, because now Mars is able to, through Aries, the self, the body, the I am, travel, and then in the sign of Scorpio, understand the desires of the self, but not just the self's own desires, however, others' desires as well, be able to acknowledge others' desires as well. Mars does this in the sign of Scorpio. And in the sign of Capricorn, Mars is able to work, to work hard, to work in a practical sense, where things make sense over time, and there is a physical manifestation over time of this hard work, this labor. So we do know Capricorn, the 10th house governs Capricorn. Capricorn is an earth sign, and it's a cardinal sign. So with the experiences of Mars and Aries and Scorpio, which can seem destructive, these experiences can be destructive. However, through Mars's experience in Capricorn, Mars is able to build. Mars is able to build. Mars is able to take this self-awareness and these destructive tendencies, and to focus them toward a goal and build accordingly through the sign of Capricorn. And a very powerful energy, and over time. And this is what gives Mars the ultimate power, because the sign of Capricorn, which we all know represents the height, the 10th house, is the height of our our will. The 10th house is the height of our will. And with Mars, with the sign of Capricorn, we're able to discipline ourselves over time and able to focus ourselves and achieve and reach a point where others can actually see, look, you know, I understand who I am. I understand my usefulness in others and my desires in others. And look, what is this? Look, mom and dad, I got the reward. I'm able to apply these things, not just destructively to tear things down. However, I'm also able to focus and apply these things to build and to become useful in the world and to become a beacon of stability, a beacon of toughness over time. And this is what creates the power structure. Being able to understand ourselves. I am Aries through Mars, what we desire through Scorpio, and what we use, how we use these things in the sign of Capricorn. And this is how we gain our power. And I'm not going to go into the debilitation. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do each planet and the signs, and similar to this outline. And yeah, I think that this will be useful because it just gives you guys a perspective on being able to analyze how these planets are playing out without all of the clutter of extra information that's kind of unnecessary. I'm just with building on how it's playing out through you, because I may not have the sun in Aries or, Mercury in Aries. However, we all have a first house. We all have an 8th house. We all have a 10th house. We all have these signs somewhere. So understanding that through the houses, even if we don't have, any planets in the sign, if these houses are empty, we still can understand in that area of life how we can gain our own power and go through the experiences that are necessary to effectively and efficiently express these energies in our lives. So I hope that this makes sense, that this resonates with you guys. Please let me know in the comments down below. I will be back and it's going to be the same outline and things. And yeah, thanks for watching. See you guys later. Bye.